goodness. See ya. Lord have mercy. Guys, I don't even know where to begin because there's a lot to unpack. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. Beginning with the Head of House Challenge, Head of House Challenger, Most Influential Housemate of the Week, the red telephone ringing, and then a twist in the final nomination show of the 10 over 10 season. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot to unpack. So without wasting much of your time, we're just going to dive right into this video now and begin from the very, very top. All right? Because frankly speaking, I could literally sit here and I'll be laughing all through the end of this video, but let's just get right into the business of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, first off, massive accolades to Faith for winning the Head of House Challenge again last night for the third time this season. Guys, the Head of House Challenge was very, very tasking. It was a game of intuition, a game of retention, a game of, how do I put it now? Just a game of retention, you know, to test how sharp your brain is and how much your brain can retain in a short period of time. And Faith really excelled in that game, and so he emerged the Head of House last night. Now, for a guest, he had chosen Mensan. Now, because of the state of affairs with regards to things between him and Joanna during the live eviction show, he had wanted an alone time in the Head of House lounge. So he had asked Big Brother if he could just, you know, not pick anyone, but Big Brother insisted that he picked someone. Remember, the same thing was what Zita tried to do last week, but Big Brother insisted that she had to pick someone. So Faith had then gone ahead to pick Mensan, who has never won Head of House yet and who is yet to visit the Head of House lounge. So last night, Faith had allowed only him, that's only Mensan, to enjoy the Head of House lounge. But then, unfortunately, the Head of House Challenger happened and Faith lost his Head of House title to Sultana, who emerged the new Head of House for the week. So massive, massive congratulations to Sultana. I mean, guys, I was genuinely happy for her because remember, she had won the Head of House Challenge before, but then she had lost it during the Challenger. I'm trying to recall if it was the same week that she won it, that Faith won it over from her. I'm trying to recall, but I can't remember at this point. Yes. So I was genuinely happy for her. Massive congratulations to her. And that gave her automatic immunity to the finals. In other words, she emerged as the second finalist of the season. Now, by this time, Big Brother already announced the first finalist of the season, who is in the person of Mensan. Yes. Now, remember, Big Brother was not around last week, but there had been the most influential player of the week voting process that happened the Saturday before last week. Yes, but because Big Brother was not around, that whole situation was not talked about on Sunday during the live eviction show. Yeah, so before the Head of House Challenger had begun, Big Brother had gone ahead to announce the result, and Mensan turned out to be the winner. Guys, everybody was so happy for him. I was happy for him because everybody in the house, they keep on talking about, oh, this guy has grace, this guy has grace. And he was so happy. He was so shocked. And you can tell that this is something he had been praying for the longest time. Yes, he wants to win the show. But before winning the show, he wants to make it to finals. So he made it to finals and he was so overwhelmed with joy that this guy literally threw himself on the floor, prostrating and crying and thanking God. And he was thanking the whole house. It was such an emotional moment. And I love the fact that people gave him his time to go through his emotions before they then proceeded into the Head of House Challenger. Yes. So in case you're seeing Sultana now as the Head of House, that was what happened. She defeated Faith in the Head of House Challenger and emerged the Head of House. Yes, the new Head of House. And my heart also went out to Koi and Mide, who were the finalist alongside Sultana in the last round of the Head of House Challenger. They did not listen to instructions correctly, and so they had missed out on that opportunity. And that is something that Sultana really has. You know, she has the ability to really focus and listen to instructions in the arena, especially during the Head of House games. Yes, so that one happened, making it 2 finalists that we already secured for this season. And then lo and behold, people that decided to give another finalist spot to another housemate. So what happened was, this evening, 30 minutes before the live nomination show started, the red telephone had rang. Rude Boy had picked it, but unfortunately, nobody spoke to him. And that is because he is the snail of the week. Yes. Now, a lot of people keep on asking me in my comment section, oh, Glory, what does snail mean? Where have you been? Anyways, the snail of the house, or the house snail, is the least performing housemate during the Head of House Challenge. Yes. So Rude Boy performed the worst. Yes. And so that earned him the title of the snail of the house, or the house snail. So what that also means is that he cannot be granted immunity. He cannot be granted any special privileges, you know, or whatsoever. I mean, he's going to be doing either the toilets and bathrooms, cleaning them, or doing the dishes in the kitchen. So I think he chose the kitchen. Hence the reason why you always see him in the kitchen doing the dishes and cleaning the kitchen. Yes. Now, by virtue of that, by virtue of the fact that he's the snail of the house, or the house snail, when the telephone rang and he picked, nobody spoke to him. So K-Bobo was second, you know, beside him, and then K-Bobo had gone ahead to pick the call. So the first time, K-Bobo did not hear anything. The phone operator was saying hello, hello, hello. K-Bobo did not hear. So he had hung up the call and he had stuck around. Now, the phone had rang again a few minutes later, and K-Bobo had run to the phone, picked up the phone, and lo and behold, ladies and gentlemen, there was on a platter, a golden platter, immunity, like a one-way ticket straight to the finale. According to the phone operator, it's not free. It's not free at all. That immunity cost 10 million naira, and it's going to be taken away from the prize money. So he can actually accept it or reject it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you were in K-Bobo's shoes, what would you have done? Be honest with yourselves. Because my brother did not reject it. He automatically accepted it. Yes, I mean, everybody in that house thinks that they will win the show. K-Bobo believes that he is the potential winner. So, to get himself closer to the money, he decided to, you know, spend out of that same money 10 million naira and purchased that ticket. Ladies and gentlemen, hectic. Really, really hectic. Now, this one really touched me because I remember that this same style was used in Bbnaija and Zamzi season 5 that happened earlier this year. It was about, I think, 250,000 rands that one of the housemates had secured to buy a one-way ticket straight to the finale. But unfortunately, it happened that he could not use the ticket because he got evicted that Sunday. So what happened was, on the stage, he had been given the option to either take the money and the ticket or whatever, or return the money back to the prize money. So out of the generosity of his heart, he had gone ahead to return the prize money, or rather the 250,000 rands to the prize money. But in this case, it's so unfortunate for the rest of the house that everybody did not even think twice. The guy went ahead and purchased that immunity for himself. Now, he had also been instructed not to inform anybody in the house. And my guess is that on Sunday, it will all be revealed. Yes, because the housemates by now are aware that there's a shortage in the money. And guys, I'm going to explain all of this much later. And it was so funny looking at K-Bobo, the way he was shouting alongside the rest of the housemates that, oh my God, what happened? The money has reduced. The money has reduced. But anyways, question to all of you, if you were in K-Bobo's shoes, what would you have done different? Would you have rejected the offer for the sake of the house? Or would you have gone away to be selfish, at least for once for yourself? You know, do something meaningful for yourself. whether you know that you're going to win the money or not, but just see yourself in the finale. Which would it be for you? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, quickly moving on to the live nomination process. Now, tonight's live nomination process came with a twist, but not a shocking twist, but it was a good twist, all right? It was a good twist. It made for good entertainment, but not very shocking, all right? Now, aside the head of house, aside Mensan, Big Brother had told the rest of the house that they were all up for possible eviction this week. Yeah. Now, he had instructed Sultana, the head of house, to go ahead and get us a trinket from the tree of trinkets. Now, let me also add that there was no red envelope procedure. Nah, that was scrapped out. So it was automatic nomination for everybody with the exception of the top 2 finalists that we already have, all right? So Sultana had picked up a trinket and the paper said, save one only. I'm going to be frank with all of you, I was kind of disappointed because once again, boring, yeah? But fine, it sort of aligned with what production had, kept in place for us tonight. So Big Brother had read out the conditions of that power that she picked. She was to save one housemate, but every single housemate that is up for eviction will have to pitch themselves to her, like give a very, very believable, a compelling speech for 2 minutes, selling themselves to her and trying to convince her as to why she should save them and take them to the finale. Now, after listening to everybody, she can decide to save one person or decide not to save anybody at all. It's optional for her. She's not compelled to save anybody. And ladies and gentlemen, I must admit, I was quite impressed by the audacity of every single one of the housemates. With the exception of, okay, no exceptions, but I was quite impressed with all of them. Yeah. I actually thought that they would all go, maybe not all of them, but maybe majority of them would go in there begging Sultana and groveling at her feet, begging for a spot in the finale. I mean, I'm very sure that if Mensan did not have immunity, I can bet my wig on it that Mensan would have probably even knelt down and prostrated on the floor to beg Sultana. That one I'm very sure of because that is something the guy was really, really thirsty for. But for the rest of the housemates, I was quite impressed. Oh, I think Capable also, Capable in a way kind of did not beg, but kind of begged. Yeah, but the rest, I was quite impressed by the audacity. Now, beginning with Kola. Ladies and gentlemen, for a moment right there, I was scared that Kola was going to beg. But guess what? Kola did not beg. This guy held his head high and he told Sultana that he understands that they've had their fallout and things have happened. She has her people. She has her options. He also has his people. He's very, very grateful for where he is. He's grateful for how far he has come and he's just overall grateful. Now, he has said a lot, but the summary of everything he said boiled down to his gratitude, that he's grateful for where he is and how far he has come. And that's it. Period. And he left. And guys, I found myself giving this guy a round of applause because Kola did not beg. And I was so proud of him. I was really proud of him. Now, the next housemate was Isabella. Of course, Isabella is Sultana's friend, so I was also kind of thinking that she was going to really beg. But ladies and gentlemen, she did not beg. But she actually gave some very, very valid reasons, they sounded kind of flimsy and vain, but they were kind of valid reasons as well. Now, she said that she deserves to be in the finale to see, her dress, to also see Sultana put on her own dress. She deserves to be there to see people's reaction, people that called her an empty brain, that she wants to be in the finale to see their reaction when they see her on that stage. And she wants to be in the finale because she hopes that it is going to be she and Sultana that switches off the lights in Big Brother's house before the end of the season. Very, very sweet reasons. It was giving bestie vibes, and it was just so cute. But I still love the fact that she did not beg. She held her head high and executed her own assignment. And she kept it short and simple. She did not drag it. Yeah. Now, next housemate was K-Bobo. K-Bobo gave so many reasons. Oh, because he's caring. He's always looking out for people. He cooks for everybody. And Sultana is always coming to meet him for things. And he's always there for Sultana. And Sultana knows that if he was him in that position, he would do the same thing for her. So it was kind of him trying so hard to lobby his way around the whole situation. But then again, yeah, that was his speech. Now, Mide was the next housemate. And ladies and gentlemen, when you talk about a compelling speech that should have really convinced Sultana to pick her, give her that save, that immunity, it was definitely Mide's speech. Mide's speech was overly compelling. You know, one thing I like about Mide is she's very intelligent. She knows how to put her words together. She's very, very good with, you know, putting words together. And she really used her words. You know, she talked about how she and Sultana, they have this thing in common where people underrate them. So she feels underrated. People do not necessarily see her as a competition, you know. So she wants to be in the finale to prove a point. And there's also the part where she believes that she has really given herself, like the entirety of herself, to the whole competition, to the experience. And so she believes that she deserves a chance to be in the finale. She actually said a lot, but this was actually the key points that I actually got from everything that she said. And I was quite impressed. I think, as I said, she was the only person that really, really sold herself to Sultana. And if I were Sultana, I would look at this girl and tell myself, nah, she's a threat. I'm not going to pick her at all. But anyways, next housemate was Jason J, Sultana's lover in the house. Jason J had given this girl a very, very lengthy hug when she won head of house. And that hug, you could tell that it was the hug begging for immunity. And afterwards, he had gone to the bedroom, he had cried his eyes out, and then he had been literally glued to Sultana. I mean, he's always with Sultana, but this time around, it was kind of overly intimate, like indirectly begging her for immunity. You know, so when it was his time to sell himself to Sultana, I'm going to be frank with all of you, I kind of zoned out because the guy said a lot of things. He said a whole lot. But more importantly for him, he doesn't want to miss out on this great opportunity because he has had to sacrifice a lot of things to pursue his career in entertainment. And this is one opportunity that he lives for. So he really, really needs to be in the finale. Yeah, that was what I got from his speech. Now, next housemate was Emisi. Emisi's own reason was quite interesting. She said she wants to be in the finale because she knows that her entire family, her grandparents, her siblings, they're going to be there. She wants them to see her on the stage. And that is why she wants to be in the finale. Yeah, that was that. Very brief. Now, next housemate was Koi. Koi proved himself to be a typical businessman. And I loved the angle he came from. He said, well, you know, I bring the energy when it comes to task, wager task, and sponsor task. So save me, take me to the house, or keep me in the house till next week so that I will be handling all the tasks and bringing all the energy. And that was where he stopped. And I'm like, oh, wow, this guy is so smart. And I'm going to be frank with all of you. I was literally giving this guy, you know, a round of applause because that made so much sense, you know. Show her how much of a necessity you can be to her and see if she will definitely want you to be in the house. It made so much sense. Now, next housemate was Dede. Ladies and gentlemen, I was kind of scared that Dede was going to drop her steez and beg Sultana. Remember, they're not on good terms, right? But guess what? She did not beg. Instead, she was very blatant. She said that, to be very honest, she has kind of checked out of this house emotionally. She feels like she has actually had enough of, you know, a lot of things happening in the house. But for the sake of her mom really wants her to be here. You know, her mom would want to brag to her friends via her WhatsApp status that, oh, her daughter made it to the finale, you know, that type of thing. Anything to make her mom happy, she would still love to be here. But to be honest, left to her, she feels like she has actually had the full extent of the experience. I'm just paraphrasing what she said. And I was quite proud of her that she did not beg. Now, next housemate was Faith. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, Faith would always give us drama with any and everything. The moment it got to his turn and it got to Sultana, normally housemates are supposed to sit on that whatever it is, chair or stool, whatever. But Faith did not want to sit. He wanted to stand. So he put his leg on the thing. And Sultana, of course, is always getting irritated by Faith. So Faith saw that she was already getting irritated by him, and of course decided to add to the irritation. So she told him, sit down. He said no, that he doesn't want to sit down, that he prefers to stand. And Sultana was already rolling her eyes and like, oh, you have to sit down. Everybody other person, they sit down. And I was like, well, I don't want to sit down. Big brother had to tell Faith, sit down, before Faith ran and sat down. Now, he looked Sultana in the eyes and told Sultana the different areas of the house where they had had conversations, the different issues they had had, the different times that she stole his socks, pierced it with a hole, but 2 days ago, still wore the same socks. And then today, when he was handing over the head of house badge to her after she won, she had told him, I'm so proud of you, and he had doubted her. And she had made it a big issue because when she went to the head of house lounge, she was telling Isabella and they were dragging Faith. So Faith told her that, well, whether you pick me or not, whether you save me or not, if I'm meant to be here, I will be here. I said, bam. That is what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. Because guys, listen, by that statement that Faith made, it goes to tell you that this boy really understands what is going on here. Everybody wants to get to finale. Everybody wants to get to finale. But the question is, how many people will win the money? Just one person. Before that one person wins the money, several other people will be kicked out of the house until there's just 2 last people standing. And then the winner will be declared out of the 2 people. So Faith's speech was a reflection of that understanding. And I was so proud of him that he had that understanding, that he wasn't being delusional, thinking that, oh, you know, get me to the finale and whatnot. Although I will not dispute the fact that getting to the finale means different things to different housemates. But that is what it is. Getting to the finale does not guarantee winning the show. It's just a probability. But it's also a possibility, if we're going to be honest with ourselves. And by the time he was done with his speech, you could tell that Sultana was very irritated. She was very, like, you can tell that this one, even though they begged her to give Faith that immunity, she will not give him the immunity. And guys, it was just so hilarious. But the good thing is, Faith walked out of that place with his head high, not begging for anything. Anyways, finally, Zita. I'm going to be frank with all of you. I don't know what Zita was saying. This girl has issues with communication. She doesn't know how to articulate herself. Sometimes I find it funny and entertaining. Other times I don't, because it's frustrating. So I'm sorry, guys. I did not hear anything she was saying. I was just hearing, scra. I'm like, girl, what are you saying? So at the end of it all, after everybody had sold themselves to Sultana, she made a very outstanding, remarkable decision. She did not save anybody. Instead, she decided not to save anyone at all. She decided that, to be fair, let everybody fight for that stage. But everybody gave a very beautiful speech, compelling speeches, but let everybody fight for that stage. And ladies and gentlemen, Rude Boy was the happiest, because remember, he did not get the opportunity to also sell himself because he's the snail of the house, you know. So everybody was quite happy, except the likes of Jason J and Isabella, who are lover and friend. Yeah. Because at least there's no way she could save one and not save the other. It was going to be a big problem in the house. So that was that. And Big Brother addressed the issue of the prize pot. So according to Big Brother, housemates were standing last week. So they had earned, or rather secured, double the week's earnings. That is 15 million in total. But then, ladies and gentlemen, the house spending dropped the money down from, I think, 52 million, if I'm not wrong, to about 30 something again, because about 14 point something million was deducted. Some of the money came from K-Bobo's immunity purchase ticket to the finale. And then for the other, we don't know. Maybe I will probably explain next week, all right? And so, ladies and gentlemen, the night ended, or rather the live domination show ended with the housemates shouting and exclaiming, like, what the hell, what happened? Who ate our money? Who spent our money? I cannot wait for Sunday when Big Brother really reveals that, okay, K-Bobo actually purchased immunity with that money. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop talking here because I would love to hear from all of you. So please go ahead, share your thoughts in the comment section below about all I have shared on this video, and I'll see you guys on my next one. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing evening. Bye.